All right,
Oh,
good morning. Wake the hell up. It is Totar Win Thursday. You know what that means? You know what that means? Ho! We're going to be talking about a little something that happened yesterday where a bunch of Republicans sprouted a damn spine and stormed into the skiff. And what happens when some Republicans sprout a damn spine? Well,
This guy so much sack. He protect, he attack. This why no more homo erotic rocket ranches. Got it? Got it. Oh jeez. So much wang. America.
so much wang.
so much wang. So skiff, the skiff situation. Who, buddy? Adam
Now, you don't mean
Schiff,
the shift in the skiff?
Schiff in the skiff.
It sounds like a really effed up Dr. Seuss novel.
It does. The skiff is full of Schiff today. So, or at least it was full of Schiff yesterday. But some Republicans sprouted a second one and did something about it. Now, this is a big deal. Um, there's going to be a bunch of stuff from the lefties about compromise of national security. And guys, you're talking about people that are running uh, freaking creepy Uncle Joe Biden, who on three separate occasions personally pointed at the football. Biden should be in prison for his national security faux pas. Um, but they're all backing him for president. But then a bunch of Republican lawmakers got together and said, "No, Adam Schiff, you don't get to deny an American citizen his constitutional right to establish a defense and confront his accuser. And no, you don't get to run flippin' Nazi Soviet style underground show trials just so that you can lock down all the information and selectively leak the most useful pieces. Because, guys, we already know that Adam Schiff, I think I put him as Peter Schiff in the tags. I'll have to fix that. We already know that Schiff is more than happy to leak information to the press. It's it's not something that he has done on occasion. It's his entire functional political strategy. But when a bunch of lawmakers that were voted for by conservatives got together and said no more, America said, "Arr, arr." I have long said that I vote Republican for one reason and one reason only. That given a choice between Republican and a Democrat, the only thing that I can consistently hope for is that the Republican fucks up slower.
Yeah, would you rather be shot in the face or shot in the leg? Well, okay, the leg.
I have also said on more than a few occasions that the Democrat Party is evil and the Republican Party is weak. I stand by that. I do. This this is a show of force, a show of courage, a show of dedication to our principles that is finally something worth paying attention to.
Yes, yes. Well, this is part of why Donald Trump refers to it as a lynching. And let's be really clear about this whole lynching word. I'm sure several people have seen the supercuts of all the people that said what was being done to Bill Clinton a couple of decades ago was also a lynching. Joe Biden even apologized for it because his comments were insensitive. There's this brilliant guy named Bertrand Russell who pointed out that words have two meanings. There's their technical definition, and then there's their emotional definition, and both things can be played with. You can accurately describe something, but because of the inflection that is used, you change how people feel about it. Lynching is when a mob gets together and basically hangs somebody extrajudicially. But lynching has come to mean all sorts of unfair prosecutions. Sometimes it doesn't even have to go through the court system. Like we've heard of like the Twitter lynch mob, for example, where people dogpile you and drag you on Twitter for not having the right think and for not being woke enough. So when Donald Trump refers to this as a lynching, he's referring to it as a lynching, excuse me, because what's happening is happening outside of normal legal channels. And we even did a thought experiment before the show. Is there any conceivable reason why you would want to compartmentalize all this information in such a way as to where you deny the accused the ability to face his accuser, formulate a proper defense, and all of that sort of stuff? And we just could not come up with a reason. Ergo, it is a form of lynching, because when you're sitting in the jail cell in the frontier town and the mob comes with pitchforks and torches, knocks out the sheriff, drags you out of the cell, and hangs you from a tree for a horse you might not have stolen, that's a lynching, because a group of people get together and just decide, nope, you're guilty, and we're going to make whatever needs to happen so that you are guilty happen, and you will be punished. That's what's going to happen.
Punished.
Yes. But apparently a few Republicans yesterday remembered that they had these things called testicles and just threw a monkey wrench in all that.
Yeah.
So, at first, when I first heard about this, because a SCIF, and I did not actually know that SCIF was an acronym. I only knew what a SCIF was because of cross references in pop culture. I've heard it referred to. And I know that a SCIF is basically like the old cone of silence from Get Smart, only it actually works. Chris, please enlighten us. SCIF means?
A SCIF is a secure compartmentalized information facility. It's where secrets are stored, as it were. If y'all think back to the Hillary Clinton email scandal, one of the arguments that was made by the what's the word I'm looking for? The enemy.
Beast.
The enemy is that the secret server was stored in a locked room, and that meant it was secure. Well, no. For it to be a SCIF, there are some serious requirements, and for various reasons, including my own NDAs, I won't go too deep into that, but at a minimum, you're talking about a locked, secure entrance, and each locked, secure entrance to the facility has 2 armed guards. That's a very minimum position on that. So, what you have going on here, they chose to use a SCIF to try and create the narrative, to try and write a story about the sensitivity of the situation. But unless they're lying about what's happening in the SCIF, the thing that's happening in there is a bunch of Democrats are deposing a witness for the prosecution in the impeachment trial, but there has been no vote to officially initiate an impeachment inquiry, which means that basically the Democrats are going out of their way to conduct impeachment activity without following the procedure. So it's as if they've begun a trial, and you've got the judge, the jury, the prosecution, and the witnesses for the prosecution have all gotten to go in the courtroom, and then the accused and the defense and his defense attorney have been locked out. And it's not only do you not get to have the representation that you're guaranteed by the Constitution, or the right to confront your accuser, you don't even get to know what they said. So what's also interesting is hearings like this are almost always recorded so that there is a record. They're making the complaint that the lawmakers, that the GOP guys that stormed the skiff had their cell phones, which of course have cameras, recording devices. You use them as a voice memo so you can record audio on it, so on and so forth. Yeah, the thing that we should really be talking about is, why is a deposition, if that's what this is, why is that going on without a record of it being kept? Oh, well, that's so that when Schiff decides to leak information to the press the way he does every single time,
Yeah,
that
we
there's
keep
nothing,
getting.
that there's no record to rebut or debate the claims that he makes through his proxies.
Yeah, we keep getting little snippets and nuggets and extremely tantalizing, juicy little pieces of information that are coming out of this show trial. And it's sort of like how we talked about yesterday with the whole thing with Fish and the koi pond and Abe. It was relatively easy to get the unedited video and realize that Abe and Trump both fed the fish the same way, and that Trump wasn't an idiot. He was literally following the custom of the man in front of him. But when you got this situation with this skiff, well, we don't have access to the unedited video, as it were. So if we hear a soundbite about, well, so-and-so knew about the military aid being cut before the phone call, my guess is it's entirely probable that that was said, that might even be a direct quote. But without the appropriate context, that statement could, in fact, carry a whole lot more weight and could be damning and could be worth impeaching Trump over. Or it could carry a lot less weight, and most reasonable people would go, I mean, come on, really, this is what we're all getting our panties twisted up about?
Yeah,
I mean, you know what this is? This is basically a grand jury. And grand juries are things that, just personally speaking, I've kind of gone back and forth on whether or not they should exist. And a grand jury is basically, it's not exactly a secret proceeding, but it's when the prosecution gets everybody together, deliberately excludes the potential defense because there's severe corruption involved. Like, if you're going to try and indict a mob boss or a corrupt politician, a grand jury is a vehicle for that, because you can protect people. You can get the testimony that you need, and then the jury itself decides to indict. Yes, there's enough evidence here to try and go after Al Capone or whoever. And then some of the people that provided that information, who might find their loved ones dead on their front lawn for speaking out, well, they're protected. I'm not real sure you can use a grand jury to impeach the freaking president, though. That just seems awfully suspicious to me. Like, you're stacking the deck, and we're not. I mean, look, let's just hit the freaking highlights, okay? Trump and Putin stole the election. Well, turns out that didn't happen. Well, Trump and Putin influenced the election. And again, turns out that didn't happen. Well, Trump tried to do blackmail with Ukraine. Turns out that didn't happen. And so forth and so on. My Russia gate, my Ukraine gate, my everything gate. And then it always ends up being that Trump either did not do what he's been accused of doing, or the severity of the supposed offense is nowhere near as bad as it was originally purported to be. Excuse me. I say this. I think if they had the smoking gun, if they actually had something that was impeachable, even tangentially, even just like the most 1% chance, they'd have already pulled the trigger. I think the fact that they're doing these closed door hearings and they haven't pulled the trigger yet means it's like the Mueller report all over again. They just can't find the evidence because it's not freaking there.
And here's the thing. They know it's not there. I don't think there is a single Democrat that except for, of course, Ocasio-Cortez, AOC,
Big tits.
AOC is probably totally bought in, but honestly, I would not be surprised to learn that she doesn't believe in any of it either, just because it's been explained to her, 1,000 enough times for it to finally sink through that dense, bug-eyed fucking cranium. But I don't honestly believe that any of the Democrat lawmakers honestly believe that there's any good reason to impeach Donald Trump. They have, however, learned an important lesson from the Russiagate scandal, and that is that there's still a huge chunk of Americans, like the majority of reliable Democrat voters, that are so bought in to the orange man bad narrative that despite all evidence to the contrary, they still believe in the whole Russia conspiracy theory. They're all running around with those 10 hats on, and they really do believe that even though there's no evidence to support the claim, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin stole the U.S. election. In fact, they don't even believe that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin stole the election. What they believe is that Putin stole the election, and Trump is just some dummy puppet with Putin's hand up his poop chute.
Yes. Which is, even now, man, I've said it so many times on this show, but ever since they tried to say Jeff Sessions was part of the conspiracy, like, it's still amusing to me even now. It's like, yeah, I'm sure a Southern man named Beauregard decided to work with the KGB. Sure.
Yeah. And they conducted that meeting at what was it? The Freedom Foundation, the Heritage Foundation. Yeah.
So you're telling me a senator met with an ambassador at a public event? Gosh. You don't say. It's almost like he was a senator and he was talking to a Russian ambassador. Like,
almost as if there's a normal course of events.
Yes, but Cheeto Hitler evil. See, that's so. Yeah, total win. Like, hey,
yeah.
Republicans, if you like winning elections, do more stuff like this. Because let me just be real clear. Let me tell you why you guys got your ass handed to you in 2018. Because you decided to listen to Paul Ryan and you did not repeal Obamacare. Oh, we can't get a clean repeal. We can't get it. Okay, fine. Ideally, you should be able to get a clean repeal. You should be able to write the repeal of Obamacare on the back of one of my kids' math homework assignments and get that sucker out of there. But fine, you can't get a clean repeal. Get a compromise repeal. Did you do that? No. And then, not to mention, there's no funding for the border wall. There's no reform of the legal immigration system, which, contrary to what everybody believes, is definitely part of the problem. If you're going to come to this country, you have to assimilate into this country. We don't assimilate to you. You assimilate to us. You want to bring the strongest parts of your culture with you and make that part of the American fabric, sure. But if you come from some socialist country and you want to come here and you want for there to be more social programs, shit right up your nose. Seriously. Go find a pot to piss in. Whew. Okay, really not trying to rant there. It just, but that's why they lost.
How dare you?
I know, Greta. You'd be so cute if you would just smile. Good Lord.
How dare you?
Look, you better save all that how dare you for your first. Save it for your prom date because he's in for a bad surprise. Your selective mutism. Yeah, I'm sure that's what she has.
Greta's prom date? Let me tell you what I already know about Greta's prom date. That ain't hard, son. That ain't hard. All right. Well, you know what? I actually pulled up the video, but we're already over 20 minutes, and I think we have adequately prevaricated around this particular bush. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go to work. Y'all be safe out there, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's going to
Wait.
be a little something special. We got some local. Wait, what?
No,
what
I
you
was
got?
just going to say, wake the hell up. I didn't mean to interrupt you,
Oh,
but I
wake
was
the
trying
hell
to
up.
talk over
It's
you.
time to
Yeah.
go to work.
All right, man. It's time to go dad, and then go to work. Hey, yesterday the stream stayed on for like 5 minutes after we went off the air. We had about 5 minutes of black screen at the end of it.